Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Today we'll review the highlights of this week's course of Daf Yomi study, Masechet Yevamot, pages 69 through 75, Samach Tet through Ayin Hey. 69. Kohen Gadol, Pamim Shu Posel. It's possible for a Kohen Gadol to invalidate someone else's ability to eat Truma, which would seem to be almost illogical, and yet we'll see how. Ketzad. How could this be? Bat Kohen, the daughter of a Kohen, Li Yisrael, who married a regular Yisrael, V'yadai Menu Bat, and they produced a daughter. And the daughter went along when he said the Kohen and married a Kohen. And she had a child from that marriage. This grandson of the original woman, who is himself now a Kohen, because his father is a Kohen, could function as the Kohen Gadol, the high priest in the temple. He could function at the altar. He causes his mother to be able to eat truma, because the mother was in fact not the daughter of a Kohen, but she was married to a Kohen and now had a Kohanic child, so she could eat truma. But now invalidates his grandmother from eating truma. The grandmother, who had been the daughter of a Kohen, but who married out of the Kohanic family, has a Kohanic grandchild, but the existence of that grandchild means that she has progeny. And if she has progeny, then she can no longer eat in her father's household, so this grandmother can no longer eat truma. Zot omeret, lo kibnei Kohen gadol shu pusanim min truma. So this is the statement that people would make, oh, if only my grandson did not cause me to be unable to eat truma. Ayin, page 70. Ha'arel v'chol ha'tameim lo yochlu b'truma. A person who's uncircumcised or who has impurity, ritual impurity, cannot eat truma. Neshem v'avden yochlu b'truma. However, their wives and their servant population, the Canaanite servant population, can eat truma. Now, why should this be the case? Why, if the individual himself, the primary party, can't eat, can secondary parties eat? The answer is Kohen shemetu echav machmat milah, that we're talking about a Kohen who's uncircumcised because his brothers died from milah, meaning he was halachically supposed to not circumcise himself, and yet still his arelut, his status as an uncircumcised person, caused him to not be able to eat. So for that, an Tameh person cannot eat truma. However, these people are still Kohanim. They may have a personal problem, either temporarily or even permanently, but they're still Kohanim, and therefore those members of their household and household retinue are not invalidated thereby and can't eat truma. Ayin Aleph. Why in the wilderness did the Israelites not circumcise their children? Some say because of the weariness of traveling. They were traveling in the desert for a long time, and it's dangerous to do a surgery while you're in a weakened state, and when traveling you're in a weakened state, so they didn't do it. Alternatively, because the northern wind, which is needed for therapeutic purposes, did not blow during the wilderness period. My time, and why did the northern wind not blow? Because the Bnei Yisrael were considered estranged from God over the various sins, including the sin of the golden calf. Alternatively, because the clouds of glory did not allow for the northern wind to blow through. Now, Ayin Bet, 72. Amar Rav Huna, Devar Torah mashuch ochel betruma, Divram gazul update nishinrika arel. Under Torah law, a person who was circumcised, but who reversed the circumcision, whether by a surgery, meaning they were embarrassed by their Jewish identity and tried to reverse their circumcised status, or through no action of their own, but through natural causes, it just looks as though they were now uncircumcised. They were not circumcised. So under Torah law, their status as a mahul, as someone with a bris, remains intact, and they are not considered an arel. However, under rabbinic law, we do not allow them to eat truma because they give the appearance of being an arel, and that appearance alone is enough to make the rabbis want to say, no truma for you. Ayin Gimel. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Amar Kra, Lo bi'arti mina b'tamei. So, regarding the Maser Sheni, I did not remove the maaser bitamei in a state of impurity. So you're not allowed to burn as a means of destruction for your own personal benefit maaser sheni that has become invalidated by ritual impurity. However, truma, which is now in an impure state and cannot be consumed in the regular manner of eating, still can be burned for deriving personal benefit. You could use it to use fuel. Truma oil can be used as fuel to cook your food or to heat your home. Ayin Daled 74. Tanya Daber b'nei Yisrael Einli ela b'nei Yisrael Giyorat v'shivcha meshuchar minayin. So we're discussing now the law of Tumat Leida, the impurity that a woman contracts when she gives birth to a child. So what categories of women are included in this law? It says, Daber b'nei Yisrael. I might have thought only the native-born daughters of Israel have the rules of Tumat Leida. Therefore, how do we know that a Giyoret, a convert, female convert, or a Shivcha Canaanite maidservant, or a Meshuchreret, or an emancipated maidservant, all have the law of Tumat Leida? Talmud Lomar Isha. It says a woman regardless of their origin or background. If they have the status of Yisrael now, then they have Tumat Leida, as opposed to a non-Jew. A non-Jewish woman does not have Tumat Leida. Ayin Hey. Amar Shmuel, Petzuah Daka b'nei Shamayim Kosher. So, a Petzuah Daka is a person of injured reproductive organs. And so Shmuel is saying that if a person's reproductive organs were injured by way of Shamayim, meaning by supernatural means or not by human intervention, then that person is kasher, meaning they can marry into the community. Masnisa Tana, we learned in a Braita, it says a psuah daka, one of injured reproductive organs, cannot enter, and it says a mamzer cannot enter into the congregation. Just as a mamzer has that status courtesy of human behavior, not through divine intervention, of kamidei adam, so too here also when it comes to psuah daka, only by way of human action. Rashi explains what are the sorts of things that might result in a psuah daka that are supernatural or are not human intervention. Ra'amim, barad, me'imo. So if there's thunder and lightning, all sorts of natural weather patterns that cause the person to become injured in this fashion. Or me'imo, when in utero, already before birth, this person had damaged reproductive organs. In those situations, according to Shmuel Kasher, that person can marry into the congregation. Everyone have a great week.